Coming off drawing the two biggest audiences in cable TV history in the last 2 weeks, momentum was big for WCW heading into tonight with Raw back on its regular time slot after a 2-week absence. WCW started with the follow-up to last week's all-time memorable NWO parody in a segment that turned into the big talking point of the week in the business due to the on-screen performance and the legit backstage reactions coming out of it. With the announcers promising viewers that the segment would never be aired again on TV, Eric Bischoff ran out demanding the production truck to replay it before the Horsemen came out to end it. With the segment already creating tension between the factions by spoofing the legit Arn Anderson retirement promo, what set it off completely was the change of plans to the original scripting of the segment, as the Horsemen along with Anderson were supposed to do a run-in to clear the ring but instead were told that the segment would end up going uninterrupted, leading to a furious reaction with Flair refusing to do his follow-up promo on the show. With 7 days passing and the issues not resolved, Flair, who came out in a different demeanor, responded in a heated promo on the NWO that blurred the lines of work and shoot, saying that last week was the first time in 25 years he was embarrassed to be in the business, challenging the NWO with the Horsemen not leaving the ring until they come out. WCW's first hour saw the first ever singles match between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, going 9 minutes with Rey going over. Minutes after that, Dallas Page came out talking about his recent exchanges with Lex Luger, saying that Luger has his respect as he has been a top guy longer than Page is wrestling, but if they can't solve their issue talking they can solve it in the ring, bringing out Luger to set it up in a rare match between two of the top babyfaces in the company. WCW continued the momentum as the first hour was climbing every segment, peaking with a big 4.7 rating in the fourth quarter as the NWO came out for the response promo. Syxx started still doing his Ric Flair spoof from last week, before Nash took the microphone saying that it seems like emotions are running a little high here right now, playing off the legit heat talk over the week, saying that they're the big stars that are running things in the last 16 months. Setting up Bagwell and Konnan against Flair and Hennig for later. With the company seeing the buzz around the feud, the decision was made to change the Fall Brawl War Games main event to NWO vs Horsemen, with the intrigue in the match crossing over to the inside and general audience similarly to the shoot promo exchanges between the factions earlier in the year. Hogan and Bischoff were out seconds after 9 to open the second hour. Hogan said that he's done with the games and calling out Sting to come out for a match right now, as the building started to pop and look up with Sting coming down from the ceiling before suddenly crashing, as Hogan, Bischoff and security sold big with the idea of a legit accident during the entrance. The NWO came out to pick him up and reveal a mannequin Sting in another strong heat angle in the build to the match. The opening quarter saw WCW opening with a massive 4.4 rating, the highest rated opposed opening segment in history. A day after the Ground Zero pay-per-view, Raw was back on Monday night for the first time since August 18 after 2 Friday night specials, starting with Vince McMahon in the ring interviewing Commissioner Slaughter talking about the chaos of last night both in Austin's segment and the Michaels vs. Taker main event. Slaughter said that there would be law and order from now, talking about Austin giving JR a stunner last night while interfering in Owens' match, telling him that he's still suspended until the doctor's order and announcing a tournament for Austin's IC title, bringing out Austin for his first Raw appearance in over a month. Austin said that he's gonna break every rule he makes and he doesn't need orders from anyone to go back in the ring, giving Slaughter a stunner and then going after McMahon in the start of the build to the confrontation. Even with Raw opening hot with a big segment, the effects of the 2 weeks out showed as Raw opened only with a 2 rating going against the big Hogan Bischoff segment on TNT, its lowest start in months. WCW had a 2-match quarter next with the Steiners against Meng and Barbarian, along with Scott Hall vs Super Calo. Meanwhile, with the news of the new 2-hour program official, the company was looking to add to their already deepest ever talent roster heading into the debut in January, with ECW's Perry Saturn officially signing and talks of several more joining him after the 2 figureheads of the promotion in Tod Gordon and Paul Heyman turned on each other. Raw continued with the loaded Star Power start, having Bret Hart vs Vader and no-holds-barred match happening with the show not even a half-hour in, leading to an unexpected viewing pattern nobody could see coming. Bret and Vader went 11 minutes, ending up with interferences from the Hart Foundation, Vader and Austin, starting a show-long angle of Austin not leaving the building and going after the Harts throughout. The Bret vs Vader match gained over 500,000 viewers to bump Raw to a show-high 2.4 rating, with the surprise being that Raw, despite having the mostly unopposed second hour after Nitro goes off the air, peaked early during the head-to-head period. WCW continued with the follow-up of Ray Traylor's return to confront the NWO, coming out to attack Scott Hall and laying out Vincent before former rival Hogan came out. Next, WCW had Malenko vs Psicosis going 7 minutes, while Raw had the Godwins against new tag champions Headbangers. With Raw airing on Friday the last 2 weeks, the US Open on its original Monday night 9 to 11 time slot drew a 1.3 rating, less than half of the regular Raw audience. With J.J. Dillon off TV after the Hogan attack last week, WCW hyped a new chairman to be revealed, with Roddy Piper making his TV return to a big reaction. Piper said that he has been the president of the WWF as the crowd booed the mention of the name to Piper's laugh, and now the chairman of WCW, setting up 3 things he's changing right away. The first one was Piper promising to finally deliver the Sting vs Hogan match before 1997 ends. The second point was him bringing up his open contract for a title match, setting up Piper vs Hogan in a cage at Halloween Havoc. With the final one being Piper officially announcing the change to the Horseman vs NWO War Games main event based on the work and shoot events of the last week. Piper's return segment gained over 900,000 viewers to peak the night with a 4.7 rating, as the announcers said that they still have the 2 main events to go and telling viewers that they are going past 10 p.m. into the overrun. After the experiment of going past the top of the hour into the overrun saw WCW not only drawing a near-record rating, but hurting Raw significantly and halting their second-hour boost, the WCW overrun will start to become a regular part of the show, as WCW had the TNT time slot locked due to them moving the replay of the show to 10 p.m. This week the formatting of the show placed the two announced big star power matches into the overrun, as the show went 22 minutes long. Horsemen's Ric Flair and Curt Hennig vs NWO's Bagwell and Konnan went 9 minutes with Flair and Hennig going over heading into the pay-per-view. The second match saw Luger and Page going 4 minutes before the NWO was out to attack both, bringing out Giant for the save as Page and Luger cleared the ring to close the show. WCW, continuing the biggest run of momentum in company history, drew a huge 4.3 rating to almost double Raw, with the 4.3 to 2.1 rating gap during the head-to-head hour the biggest in history. Vince and JR officially announced the first ever Hell in a Cell match to take place on October 5 at the Bad Blood pay-per-view, with Undertaker vs Shawn Michaels in the main event, bringing out Taker to hype the match going against the Horsemen vs NWO tag match on TNT. Taker said that the wild brawl last night was only the beginning and he will not stop until he takes Michaels out with them locked in the new cage structure. Michaels responded that he will survive the match as he always does, but if he goes down he's taking Taker with him. Raw had Owen Hart vs Goldust going against the Nitro finish with Luger vs Page, with the second part of the Brian Pillman X-Files reveal coming up. The live Nitro broadcast ended at 10:22 p.m. with the replay of the show starting right after. At the same time on the USA Network, Raw continued with the three-way main event and gained shockingly low number of viewers, barely jumping from a 2.2 to 2.3 rating. If WCW's original show rating doubling them wasn't enough, the last 38 minutes of Raw, which was going against the first 38 of the Nitro replay, ended up with the WCW replay outdrawing the live Raw broadcast by a 2.7 to 2.3 rating margin, in perhaps the biggest win for WCW to date on a brutal night for the WWF, with things looking far from competitive. Shawn Michaels and Hunter attacked Bulldog from behind to start the build to the Michaels vs Bulldog pay-per-view match in England, while indirectly starting the Hard Foundation feud. Raw's three-way main event of Patriot, Savio Vega and Hunter went 17 minutes as the show went off the air with Michaels and Hunter in the ring and the Harts coming out. Raw on the night, along with going against the Mega Hot Nitro, continued the pattern of shows needing several weeks to get their full audience back after being preempted, with Raw overall drawing its joint lowest rating since April with a 2.2.